Hey out there, this is Wake Angel 2001 coming at you with another Sonic Boom vlog. And this one's not 4 days late because my tape actually managed to record it for once. If anybody out there still has a VCR, I totally recommend getting one of these because the most your VCR does to damage itself is when it's rewinding its own tapes. So get a rewinder, it'll spare the stress on your VCR and help it record better. Alright, so this episode was The Haunted Lair. And we find that, we find a couple of incongruities here, and Eggman seems to be afraid of ghosts. Alright, so the episode starts innocently enough with another one of T.W. Barker's, jobs. He's running a haunted forest attraction. Eggman muscles his way to the front of the line, and he goes in with Sonic and his friends. Because, as we all know, in this series, Eggman is just a weird friend. So as they're going through the attraction, they see the typical haunted house fair, and Styx comments that nothing in there is particularly frightening. But they find a piece of paper on the floor, and when Tails picks it up, he says it's a proposal for a government health plan option, to which Styx freaks the hell out and runs away. I missed having a crazy Styxism. We didn't get one last weekend. This just felt so good. But Eggman starts to point out all the rubber bats, the mood, the ambient music. It's all very cliche, not all that scary. When some ghosts pop down on strings, and he freaks the hell out and runs away screaming, which Sonic, Amy, and Tails start laughing hysterically. So yeah, apparently Eggman is afraid of ghosts. So at the next day, Eggman's still kind of freaking out over the ghosts, and Sonic and his friends decide to take advantage and poke fun. So they start making ghost sounds, and Eggman freaks out and shamefully hides under a table. And Sonic, because Sonic is not a psychopath, he actually starts to feel sympathy. Because, you know, Sonic's a good person. He'll mess around with you, but when he sees that you're in real distress, he knows that there's a line to cross. And you know what? That is really good. Because, like, so many times in cartoons, we have where people don't know where lines cross, and that's where a lot of the conflict comes from. But here, Sonic decides to mess around with a guy, but he sees that this is really messing him up, so he says, you know what? Let's stop. That's maturity. And that's quite a lot more maturity than I ever expected to see from Sonic. Even proper universe Sonic, really. So they take Sonic back they take Eggman back to Barker's exhibit during the day, and he shows them how everything works, including the ghosts that are just sheets, iridescent sheets that are suspended on strings. They scare Eggman a little bit when they come down, but then he realizes that there's nothing to be afraid of. So he's in his lair, nice and relaxed now, when a ghost appears, and he says he reaches up for the string only to not find one. He freaks out and runs away. This whole time everyone's insisting that there's no such things as ghosts. All right. First of all, ghosts being an actual thing in Sonic the Hedgehog continuity is so a thing. In the video games, we first saw them in Sandopolis Zone Act 2 from Sonic and Knuckles. You go into the pyramid, and as it gets darker, these ghosts start to appear, and when they get big and grow horns and fangs, they start to attack you. Ghosts. In the Sonic Adventure series, Sonic Adventure 2, you encounter an enemy in the ancient pyramid levels called the Boos. Which is kind of the same name that Mario ghosts have, aren't they? The Boos. I don't know if that's their official name. But yeah, they'll do anything from stalk you, grope you, and they even have a big whale-shaped king that you have to turn into a shadow to fight. So, yeah, I mean, ghosts, an actual thing! And in the comic book continuities, we've had characters transcend the realm of death several times. Like when Knuckles Jesused himself by using all of his chaos energy that he died with. And several members of the Guardians were able to appear in spirit form after their death. in particular, Knuckles' great-grandfather, a Thayer. So yeah, ghosts in Sonic continuity are totally a thing! I mean, the comic book even fleshed out an actual afterlife, so we actually have something of an idea of what the religious practices of the Kingdom of Acorn were. But I digress. So, apparently in the Boom universe, ghosts aren't a thing, because, self-aware artificial intelligence, time travel, magical crystals, ancient civilizations with super advanced technology, yeah, all that stuff is okay, but as soon as you put a ghost in there, then nope, that's just too far-fetched. Alright, so he goes to Barker, who confesses that he built his attraction on a Golgotha burial ground, which that should have tripped anyone off, because the idea that the Golgothas would find anything sacred enough they would have A, cared enough about each other to bother burying each other after they died, or B, found anything to be remotely sacred is completely beyond all realms of possibility. But still, Eggman falls for it, so Barker says that he'd take Eggman's lair off of his hands so that he wouldn't be haunted by the ghost anymore. But Eggman concludes that the ghost might follow him, since it's actually, the specter appeared, it could be stalking Eggman personally. So Barker says that if he takes everything that's inside the lair off his hands as well as part of the contract, then the ghost, which is inside of the lair, will be forced to stay, because ghosts are powerless against red tape. And okay, I'm not sure if this is an official reference, but I watch Phaelus, so I know a lot of obscure, stupid horror movies. And one of them is about these ghosts that haunt you through the internet, and they take you, and they kill you, and the only way to protect yourself is through the color red. Because for some reason the ghost can't penetrate red filters. So if you line your room up with red and tint your windows red, then they can't get into that room. And if you wear, there was in the sequel movie, there was a guy who literally wrapped himself up in red tape to make ghost-proof armor that protected him from these internet ghosts when apparently when the ghosts took over the world or something. So ghosts not being able to penetrate red tape. I'm not sure if that's just the all-powerful power of bureaucracy, or if it's just or if they're actually making a reference to a really stupid and obscure horror movie. Also, Dr. Eggman tries to do research in a way to exorcise the spirits, and Cubot and Norbot make a joke about how he could give them their gym membership. And they get it, exorcise the spirits. Okay, here's the thing. Dr. Eggman looks like this. He's broad-shouldered, has a big chest, and a very slim waist. This is not a man who skips gym day. Now, if Dr. Eggman looked like this, then you could make your jokes about never using that gym membership, okay? This is where the fat jokes come from. This is something that makes it look like you wrote the script with this Eggman in mind and never actually updated it when he came out looking like this. Now, that would be understandable if this was Season 1, but this is Season 2, okay? We can't really make fat jokes when you have a protagonist that clearly is not a fat guy. Seriously. I mean, yeah, I actually have had conflict with the writers of the show, because, remember the episode with the small towel thing? I made like it was a penis joke, and one of the show's writers commented in my YouTube channel that it was meant to be a fat joke. Well, okay, I'm not gonna read fat jokes. My character is clearly not fat! And they also made jokes about how Eggman has a suspicious numbness in his left arm. Okay, he can have a heart attack, because you can actually be muscular and strong, but actually not be, very healthy. there's a lot of bodybuilders, especially those that use anabolic steroids, that completely screw up their circulatory systems and are very prone to heart attacks because, that's not natural. That being said, Eggman doesn't exactly strike me as the juicing type either. He's just big chested and broad shouldered. It's not like he's a hardcore bodybuilder. Alright, I digress. There's a lot of digressions in this. Like I have a lot of criticisms to say, although not really criticisms of the episode itself. Like criticisms of how the jokes clash with the art style with Eggman's waistline, and my geeky rant on the mythology of ghosts in the Sonic universe. Neither of which is really a bad indictment on the episode itself. Just, like overall nerddom of the franchise. Oh my god. I have fallen into becoming a stereotype of the Sonic fandom. I'll try to do better. Okay, so Eggman starts building himself a shack on the beach, and wakes Sonic up with the hammering. Sonic, he gets up and says, "It's 2:30 in the afternoon. People are trying to sleep." Ah, there's our lovable slacker who naps during the day like everybody loves. At least that much is true to overall Sonic continuity. So Eggman says that he left his lair and they're going to be beach buddies from now on. So Sonic takes Eggman back to his lair. And T.W. Barker has converted the lair to a new haunted attraction, which is even better than the one before. So he takes Eggman in, which costs him $100 because Eggman doesn't have any money on him. And they go in and they find the ghost projection is a projection this time. Instead of sheets hanging from a string, it's a smoke machine, mirrors, and a digital projection of a ghost, which is why the ghost would appear intangible. So if you're looking for strings, you aren't going to find one, because the ghost literally has no physical presence. It's just a projection of light. So Eggman tries to get his lair back, but T.W. Barker has contracted, so he has everything in the lair. It's his now. So Sonic says that it's all a scam and the place isn't really haunted, and all the people that Barker was going to charge to go through the lair have they leave. So Barker can't make any money off of this. So what happens next is kind of twofold. We have Eggman's plans to get his lair back, and then we have T.W. Barker versus Sonic's team. So T.W. Barker attacks the village with an army of Eggman's robots. And this is what follows as an action sequence that's really cool, but the heroes struggle. They can't win. They're failing to take the robots out. This is because T.W. Barker, believe it or not, seems to be an excellent military strategist. He's using techniques and utilizing the robots in certain ways that they cover each other. Like when Sonic tries to make a beat on the Beetle robots that shoot lasers, he gets hit by one of the sides from the Mantis bots, so he can't get any momentum. And all the Motobugs, they move in a formation so that they're all covering each other's backs with their lasers, so no one can get up to them to actually hit them to smash them. T.W. Barker is actually a really good villain. Who would have thought? All he needs is resources, and he's the biggest threat that Sonic's team has ever faced. This is a guy that really missed his calling. I mean, yes, he did kidnap Sonic's team the first time we saw him. That's pretty evil, and he did take on one of the most reprehensible professions ever, a prosecuting attorney. So there's that, but if he really had it in his mind to become a military dictator, he probably would succeed a heck of a lot better than Eggman ever could. Of course, this is where Eggman has managed to get into communication with Cubot Norbot. Oh, by the way, Eggman has his personal grudge because two of his bigger robots picked him up and threw him out. So yeah, that's why Eggman is particularly mad. He gets into communication with Cubot Norbot and tells him to go to the computer command console, where he tells him to delete his internet search history without looking at it. I feel like these days we all need to wear like a heart monitor so that when our hearts stop, indicating that we've died, it would send a signal back home to our home computers to delete our internet search history, because nobody wants that to be public. Seriously, I think, yeah, even me, I wouldn't want anyone to see my internet search history. I don't even want people to see the tabs I have open right now. Well, one of my tabs is DeviantArt, which is right here next to me, but, the rest of my tabs, don't look at those. So Cubot and Orbot ends up getting cuddled by one of the bears, but Cubot manages to make it up to the console, and he does something which causes all the badniks to have their blue eyes turn white, and they turn and start attacking Barker. So Barker, having gotten shot out of Eggman's hover pod, wonders what's going on when Eggman says that it looks like they've contracted a virus that will make them turn on their leader, and they won't stop until their former master is destroyed. So Barker, at first he doesn't believe him, but then he gets shot in the tail. So when he manages to put his tail fire out, he gives the Lair back to Eggman by tearing up the contract. So once Eggman has ownership of his Lair and robots again, he gets into his egg pod and pushes a button which disables the virus, turning all the badniks' eyes blue again. And then he challenges Sonic to a battle, and there's and the robots come in from one side, Sonic's team comes in the other side, and we end in a freeze frame of business as usual. Okay, so like I said, I really enjoyed this episode. I know I had a lot of stuff to say about it at the beginning that seemed negative, but as far as the episode itself is concerned, it was good. It was really good. I mean, I liked Eggman being terrified of ghosts. I like how they have two ways to fake hauntings. Like, you have the ghosts on the strings, and then you have the more realistic ghost projections. That was good. I liked the whole scamming the scammer thing. I liked how this episode could easily have been Sonic messing around with Eggman until he was a nervous wreck who couldn't do anything. But no, Sonic started to do that, then he saw how it was really triggering Eggman, and he felt bad for him, which makes sense because Sonic is a good guy. Your good guys have to be good. You can't have your protagonists be complete scoundrels, at least not in this kind of show. Sonic is definitely the kind of hero who isn't going to be, he's not a really flawed hero. I mean, yeah, he's not exactly the best role model ever. He's unemployed, he sleeps into the afternoon, he's a general slacker, but, as far as his personality goes, he's a good person. And it's nice to see that they preserve that, because that is important, believe it or not. So yeah, like, this episode, it's still, like, it's good. It's great. It's another Eggman-centric episode, which, given the fact that we had that last week, it would seem that they're kind of being in a rut, except that, like Sonic said last time, they had more to do this time. Sonic featured much more prominently in this episode than he did in last week's. And we even got to see two villains clash because T.W. Barker is one of the show's villains. So, it's kind of funny that we didn't see Barker in last week's episode, like, as in part of... Wait, was Barker in the class? He didn't really do anything significant, so if he was in the class, I wouldn't have noticed. But yeah, like, I imagine that Barker probably has his evil doctorate already, or at least his evil law degree. So yeah, that's my opinion on this week's episode. Very good. Let's hope the series keeps on running. We should have at least... if we have 52 episode seasons like we did last time... Wait. I don't even remember how many episodes were in the first season. I'd completely forgotten. But... given how many episodes were in the first season, we actually had quite a while before the second season should run down. So yeah, that's all great. Alright, I probably kept you long enough. How long is this video? Holy crap, we're We're at 19 minutes. All right, I'll see you next week, guys.